America, sweet America, God's laughing his ass off at you. Somewhere Ray Charles is rolling over in his grave. Welcome, everybody. Ray Charles didn't write that beautiful song about America for this. Well, he didn't write the song, but he performed it better than anyone else. Oh, beautiful. Now, wait a minute. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? What am I talking about? I'm talking about what's happening right now. Nicki Minaj just signed on to be Donald Trump's ambassador to Africa, Nigeria specifically, over the situation going on with Christians. Trump feels such a way. Think about it. Trump feels so strongly about what's going on with Christians in Nigeria. He hired the all-powerful Barb. America, sweet America. God's not fucking with you. So yeah, what am I talking about? We're gonna get into that topic. We're gonna talk about some idiotic shit Pharrell said about would you rather have a job because you black or because you qualified? We're gonna check that out of touch statement that he made. And we're also I was watching Sincere Love the Guys podcast yesterday, him and Nicety Girl. They had a dope podcast. I really recommend that you check that channel out. And they were talking about something that the great legendary godly figure in my point of view, Dr. James Smalls, and his point of view on FBA. And he said some things that I want to address from my perspective, but we'll save that to the end. Right now we're gonna start with Trump's holy alliance with Nicki Minaj. With that being said, welcome chat room, Street Nazi Entertainment, Cornell Sly, Fela Speaks, everybody else that's joined. I didn't get to say. I'm not gonna be able to say hi to everybody. 1010 Farms, man. 1010 Farms. That just sounds like some. I don't know what you grow 1010 Farms, but that shit sounds like some good weed. I don't know. You probably grow organic apples, and I'm just my mind's there. I'm sorry, but 1010 Farms sound like somebody that grows some like clean Jack Herrera, like sun grown, but I don't know. Maybe that's just where my head go. My corrupted files. What's up, Rafi? DeAndre Mosley. Appreciate all y'all for joining. Appreciate all y'all for joining the chat room. So let's talk about it. We're gonna first read. Oh, Netta J on time. Oh, 1010 Farms, you want to gave me that gift at the museum. Much, much, much love. I appreciate that gift. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, before we even get started, salute to everybody that came out to the Hidden History Museum this past Saturday. We had an awesome time, I must say. And let me tell y'all something, man. I was nervous about this show. I was hella nervous about this show because of all the rain, you know? Because LA, this shit rained cats and dogs this past weekend. And it was a couple times in the show where I had to damn stop the show to acknowledge what we all heard. That shit was coming down. It was sounding like Jesus was coming back. Like, they said when Jesus went down to take the keys of heaven from Satan, there was a rumble in hell, and Jesus was fighting the devil, and thunder roared. You know them old Bible stories you heard. Well, that shit happened on Saturday. God damn, it was bad. But people still showed up and showed out. People still look at these. Look at that. Great time the people had. The people had a great time. This was from the museum. It was packed out. So people still came. And I was nervous because behind the scenes, my headliner, Chris Spencer, couldn't get there. He told me he wasn't gonna be able to get there till like 10:30. And as a comedy producer, when I produce shows, I don't generally like comedy shows going past 2 hours because people get laughed out. You know, you start to tire your audience out. And I'm all about throwing a great show to make you want to come back for more. I don't want to tire you out when you come to my shows. I want you to have a great time and then come back and be like, hey, I want to do this again. And then one of my comics canceled on me same day. I'm like, shit. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start the show at like 9 o'clock to push it back. But when I walked in at 7:30, y'all entered the energy in the room was just huge. There go Nicey girl right there. It was her Twitter on the right. It was her Twitter where I saw the topic with James Smalls. Salute to everybody that came out to the show. And I am drawing a blank. And she is such a dope ass person. And I'm drawing a blank to her name. I'll come back to it. I'm drawing a blank. And she listens all the time. I feel like shit. I'm gonna mention somebody else. Shit, what is her name? My bad. Anyway, I'll come back to it. Anyway, um, God damn it, I hate when that shit happens. Anyway, you see how much fun the people had. And like one of my comics canceled. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm really about to have to stretch this shit out. And back in the days when I got on stage regularly, me doing an extra like an hour time, yeah, that was Danae Wright. That's who that was. Okay, my bad, Danae, if you're listening. Danae Wright showed up. There she is next to Nicey Girl. She put on that meditation a few months ago that I was talking about. Anyway, I was like, man, I don't be doing comedy like that no regularly. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to really stretch. And the comics going to stretch. And they did. And boy, they Chico Will, Daphne Springs, Lewis Dix, Mario Hodge, and then Chris Spencer came through. See, Buddy Lewis came through. I'm gonna have Buddy Lewis on the next show. Mario Hodge came through. Tariq, man, Tariq runs a wonderful museum. Anybody talk shit about that museum don't know what the hell they talking about. Cause you get culture. Part of the major moves and reasons for museums is to spread culture. And comedy is a core component of Black American culture. This is an art form that we gave America. So what better place to produce comedy than a Black American hidden history museum with an art form that we created? That shit was fun to the motherfucker up there. Talking shit. So again, y'all you see how hard people are laughing? Make sure y'all come to the next show next month, all right? Make sure y'all come to the next show. Now Daphne was there. That's why I keep saying Daphne. Her name isn't Daphne, it's Daphne. And Daphne was there. I just didn't pull that picture up. She wasn't there at the end when we took the pictures. But Daphne was the second comic on stage and she destroyed that motherfucker too. Daphne was on stage and she destroyed that motherfucker. That shit was fun. But no, she wasn't there at the bitter end when we took those pictures. She had another show to go to. But anyway, Thank y'all again for joining the show and for being there. Thank y'all again for being there. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And one thing I like about comedy, see, comedy gives me a chance to really be there in person, you know? I don't do comedy regularly like I used to, but I'm probably never going to stop doing comedy. You dig what I'm saying? And salute to Major on these photos. My man Major, he's the one that does the photos. He's in the chat room sometime, but salute to him. But nah, one thing I like about comedy, comedy just is just a live, authentic exchange, you know, between you and your audience. And the way I do comedy is I definitely repeat jokes. All comics repeat jokes, but I never can say the same joke twice the same way. If I do a joke that I've done before, it's gonna come out how I feel in the moment now versus how I said it before. Most of the time when especially when I host a museum, I generally don't repeat jokes because we have a fairly consistent audience, and I don't want them. Oh, I know that joke. Nah, you don't know what's coming when I'm on stage. So for those of you asking, this is Daphne. Yes, she was there. Daphne Springs was those definitely there. All right, she just wasn't there at the end when we all took pictures because she had another show to get to. But yes, Daphne Springs was most definitely at the Hidden History Museum, and she did a great motherfucking job on stage. But I love cracking jokes and talking shit. As you can tell when people come around here running their mouth. It's just that where I am right now, in my mid 40s, I'm not where I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, making people laugh was everything to me. Now, I don't give a fuck about making people laugh. My heart and soul is more so in the teaching than it is making people laugh. But I still like making people laugh. So for that reason, I'll always get on stage. It's a certain drug you get when you get up there. And it's something you created in the moment, and it's these 200 people you never met before, and you say something, and pow, they laugh. I love that shit. So yeah, but let's get into what we're gonna talk about today. Trump's holy alliance with Nicki Minaj. Again, thank everybody for joining. Here we go. Oh no, this is from oh yeah, this is for those of you on Mixcloud. I did my music mix last for those of you and for those of you on Patreon. I did my music mix down last night. All right, for those of you on Patreon, I did it live for everybody for free, but the archive is only up on Patreon. We broke down class. It was part number 2. I'm doing a series on Patreon on classical R&B, the classical era of rhythm and blues from '65 to '79, that area, with some spillover into the early '80s. But for the most part, that era, and we really breaking that down. And last night we focused on love music and slow jams. So get that right now over on Patreon. All right. I think the truth you told them, let me see that picture again. Y'all stupid. What's up, Great Black Shark? So here we go. Nicki Minaj is teaming up with Donald Trump, UN ambassador. Here's why. Rapper Nicki Minaj is using her superstardom to work with President Donald Trump's UN. What the fuck just happened? There we go. With President Trump's UN Ambassador Mike Waltz on the treatment of Christian people in Nigeria. The silver-based hitmaker is joining Waltz on November the 18th, tomorrow, to speak about the violence in the country that has raised concerns around the world. I look forward to standing with her as we discuss the steps the president and his administration are taking to end the persecution of our Christian brothers and sisters, Waltz wrote on X. Ambassador, I am so grateful to be entrusted with an opportunity of this magnitude, Minaj wrote November 16th on the social media platform. I do not take it for granted. It means more than you know. The move marks a new effort for rap's most famous woman, who has been rejected by some in the genre in recent years. She has made more headlines lately by producing online quarrels instead of Billboard hit songs that helped make her a household name after the 2011 release of Super Bass. Minaj's upcoming collab with Waltz comes after Trump took to Truth Social November 1st to announce that he had instructed our Department of War to prepare for possible action against the Nigerian government over the killing of Christians. In addition to immediately stopping all aid and assistance to Nigeria, per Trump's post, he said in the U.S. military may go into the African country with guns ablazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast, Trump concluded in his post. Minaj praised Trump for his comments on the same day, sharing online that reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. Minaj then offers her friends the multiple countries around the world engaged in religious persecution, calling it a dangerous practice to ignore. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Minaj wrote November 1st. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer, she said. Okay, so this is where we are with it right here. Nicki Minaj is working with President Trump on what's going on over with Christians in Nigeria. So now, let's break this down. Trump right now is trying to appeal to fan bases and look as if he's doing something while doing nothing. Trump, the anti-war president, seems to be, in my opinion, with him talking about military action in Nigeria. Remember this: the primary way to unite whites when they're battling, or Caucasians when they're battling, this isn't being racist, this is just historical context, going back to Charlemagne the Conqueror and Christendom, is to unite based on color and religion. Christianity has always united white America and white Europe. Color and Christianity are the two things that unite the white diaspora. It's very rarely, if never, over a positive, affirmative thing that brings them together. It's usually over a negative, and the negative is usually about the unknown other. So Trump right now is dealing with the worst PR he's ever dealt with. Okay? His own base is going at him. The Israel thing is messing him up. The Epstein thing is messing him up. Him talking about more H-1B visas to is messing him up. Him talking about bringing in 600,000 Chinese students is messing him up. So the move that he's trying to make is to start drumming up the fear over Nigeria and the African thing, and it's two part. It's they black and they Muslim. So I can see what the Trump administration's midterm to longer term plan is to create an enemy of the state in Nigeria and other places of Africa. He's already removed changed their visa status and their passport status, like not accepting Nigerian passports. because of fraud. So Trump is angling for that. You know, like what Dr. Welsing said, like what Dr. Claude Anderson said, like what Neely Fuller said. At some point, they're going to get tired of being polite. And this has been like, as far as overt warfare, there's been a hands-off policy with Africa since the 60s. You know, now they've always done subversive warfare. You know, Obama and his AFRICOM. You know, when we found out that plane about a decade ago got shot down in Niger, we were like, what the fuck is a plane doing in Niger anyway to get shot down? Remember that? But with these folks, the gloves is coming off. The gloves are coming off. So military actions in Africa, unfortunately, you're going to start hearing more of, because they got to unite the right and the left. They got to unite these people. And the darker the enemy, the more aligned they can get. So what do you do when it's your plan before the end of your term to strike on that continent openly? You give fake diplomacy. You give fake diplomacy. And what is fake diplomacy? Let's put an entertainer out there. Real diplomacy is getting someone who is familiar with the region. There are all kinds of Black Americans and non-Black Americans, that Africans within the government, that are familiar with the politics on all levels in Nigeria. But no, you don't want to solve the problem, so you're not going to hire them. You're going to make it look like you're doing something by hiring an entertainer. And one thing I like about this move is you ain't got no Black Americans throwing on no fucking cape. Look, if Nicki Minaj wants to put herself out there, let her. She made it very clear when she went at Michael B. Jordan over that Juve liquor that she sees a clear distinction between Black Americans and Caribbean Americans such as herself. Nicki is going for citizenship, and Nicki got a similar issue as Trump. And that's where this can go wrong for Trump. Depending on how the base that's against Trump hits it, depending on what angle they take. And the angle where this can hurt both Nicki and Trump is the Epstein connection. We've heard all the stuff coming out about Trump and Epstein. And it was something to come out talking about Trump and Bill Clinton doing the doodly waddly, if you dig what I'm saying. And people was calling Donald Trump Donica Lewinsky. I'm just reading the news. You go check Reese Waters' channels out for greater detail on that. Reese Waters broke that down on his channel. Salute to the Reese Waters channel and those channels. But it's some shit going on now with Trump and Epstein. And when it comes to the black diaspora is always the distraction from their bullshit. This nigga Rocky is knocked out. Y'all hear him? God damn, nigga. But they like to use the black diaspora as a distraction. Well, here's the issue with Trump. If and when he goes for this distraction with Africa and Christians, all the Epstein folks got to do is point out Nicki Minaj's connection to alleged pedophilia, her husband, her family. I'm going to say alleged because I wasn't there. But some people in her circles in jail, right? Chat room, I'm right. Didn't somebody get Didn't somebody get persecuted on that side of the fence? Rocky is knocked out. Yeah. So yeah, Iron Will, like this. We at a different time right now. You can like, if you know that all the white folks just keep trying to break. Yeah, like Elon Musk, they keep trying to talk about basically what about black on black crime? What about crime in Chicago? Look, they keep running back into themselves. Now you got Siegfried and Roy going back at Trump. But Majority Green Taylor, she look like Siegfried and Roy. You see how she's breaking ranks, going at Trump? So yeah, y'all and Nicki Minaj don't understand that she's gonna be used as cannon fodder. She ain't politically savvy. She just so bitter at Jay-Z and his connections to the left. I think she's probably trying to forge right wing connections to counter Jay-Z's left wing connections. I don't know, but she ain't the brightest when it comes to this political shit. She doesn't understand that the reason why she's being used is because Trump don't want this problem solved. If Christians keep getting killed in Nigeria, that's going to give these bastards a green light, according to themselves, to go bomb Nigeria. And I don't want to see that. No, I'm not a Pan-African, but man, let them solve their own issues. Why the West got to come getting involved? Like, I don't want bombs dropped on nobody. Let them motherfuckers handle that shit themselves. You know, let the Christians and Muslims been going at this shit since both of them religions got formed. But you see, this is the direction things are going. And we will see how this plays out. We did a reading show. I'm gonna do another reading show on this pretty on Patreon. My next Patreon reading, we're gonna read the year for the Republican Party and the year for the Democrat Party to see how a lot of this shit gonna be looking next year for both of them parties. We're gonna do a party reading. Rocky. And so let's pay attention. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this turns out. But Nicki, you're a pawn. If they wanted a solution, no disrespect to you, but they wouldn't be calling you. They'd be calling an actual expert on the geopolitics of that area. Not a fake Christian that supports pedophiles. Allegedly. You dig? Here it is. Oh, shit, my bad. I'm over here designing some Nike. Y'all like this look? I'm designing some Nike ID. It's some new Air Maxes with the Dewan B logo. I don't know if I'm gonna keep these or not, but I'm over here working on a design for some new shoes. Y'all like that? I don't know. I want something basic. I'm looking for something real basic. I think I'm gonna change the color of that sole. I don't know if I'm gonna go with those. I don't know. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. So that takes me into some stuff that Pharrell said. Pharrell says some things that I agree with about not being political. I'm cool with not being political and about not teaming with either side. I was with that. But then he goes in and goes way, 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 way left. I want to take the full minute and a half, 90 seconds of what he said so we can get it in a full context. Are y'all like those shoes? Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing with it. I'm gonna keep playing with these. I kind of like that orange, that soul down there. I kind of like the soul like that. But I think I'm gonna change the backs. I don't know. Am I change the back here? What am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do? I don't know. Am I gonna go there with it? Should I go there with it? I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the show. I want to play. What's up, Clock, Nerd Large, Street Nasty Entertainment, Dexter Robinson, Shayla. Thank y'all for joining. Let's play this and then let's get back and talk about, because this all ties in. Then we're going to get to what the great James Small says, and we're going to tie all of this in together, from Trump to Mr. Smalls.
As we look at what's going on in the current political climate, I'm just saying I don't want to turn anybody off, but I hate politics. Like, despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side. So I think when you pick a side, you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just got to say, like, think about it. The wells are drying up, and okay, now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there black people here tonight? Yeah. And in your heart, do you think, for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're black or because you're the best? Do you want someone to support your startup because you're black or because you're the best? Right, so I think now for me it's about us having the best ambition. That's the reason why you should support these businesses. Yes, they happen to be black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color. That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on, and if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I want to focus on being the best because I can bank on that, because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best.
So that was it. We gonna break this back down. He went from I'm not political. Y'all notice how these cats can go from not political to speaking against their blackness? So let's go back and go where he went left. I agree with the not political stuff.
Point of view, but I just got to say, like, think about it.
Let's break this part down.
Okay, now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there black people here tonight? And in your heart, do you think, for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're black or because you're the best?
Right there. Let's start right there. Pharrell. This is why I agree when people say they're not political. If you're not political, then just stay out of it. Don't say I'm not political and then give black people a bad message. It's never been about the best in America. This isn't the black church and the choir at the black church where the best singer gets to sing lead. Not about that. America's never been about the best. America's always been about color. That's why they created unions to box black people out of jobs and positions. It's not about being the best. It's about when groups of people get into power, they cancel out other groups of people. That's what it's about. And that's what those of us on the ground level will deal with every day. What's up, Christopher Ellis? I'm not political, but I want to pander to the audience. Right. That's what it's about. Like, and I really implore a lot of my entertainer friends to not talk about this. Let me tell you right now, as a part-time entertainer, entertainers are the absolute worst people to talk about these type subjects. Why? Because in their world, they're not dealing with what you're dealing with in your world. You hear me? They go places. They see what's the who's being hired in these stadiums. They don't know the political reason as to why these stadiums, venues that book them, hire these people. When you're an entertainer, people like you, especially when you're a popular entertainer. So you get the best representation of everyone from every race. They're not going to show entertainers how they really get down. Now, me and you that don't have to work regular jobs, we see how these people get down when the entertainers and the popular people aren't around. And they don't have no such thing called a meritocracy. It's all about race. And that's what the day-to-day people who are buying your albums, attending your movies, attending your concerts, buying your DVDs, CDs, that's what they deal with. And a lot of entertainers have so separated themselves from the day-to-day person, they can no longer speak on the day-to-day person's struggle. And this is what the day-to-day black person is going through. Here in California, let me see if I can find, I saw this video. Let me see if I can find this video. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. I'm gonna give you an example. Here in California, we lost affirmative action, and most people don't know this. In California, we lost affirmative action in 1996. Let me see here. What was her name who shared that? Let me see here. We lost affirmative action in 1996. Something called Prop 209. So here in California, the day-to-day black American has been dealing with getting locked out of jobs all century. I graduated high school after Prop 209. I graduated high school after that. And me graduating high school, I never got the benefits of affirmative action. I got great chinny chin chin hairs, and I've never experienced any benefits of affirmative action. So while I had to go around and listen to Charlie Kirk, the man that got murked, talk about black people and affirmative action, if you from California, you saying, what affirmative action? We ain't got no damn affirmative action out here. Excuse me. We ain't got no damn affirmative action in no law in no San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento, California. And we've seen the effects of no affirmative action here in California. We've seen the effects. And the effects are you don't see black people represented hardly anywhere. You don't see us represented like that in the courthouses, the court clerks. We're starting to become underrepresented, not really represented at all, the DMV. Now they'll let us carry some mail, but in the corporate world, the jobs that pay pretty good, you don't see black Americans here in California with those jobs anymore. We're really dealing with this shit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because Pharrell's in Virginia or wherever he is, there's more black people down there. He doesn't see the effects. But it's not about the best qualified. It's literally about race. Look at how far hip-hop has fallen off. I saw Slauson Girl post this, and I forgot all about this. This is another reason why they took Death Row Records out. Suge Knight and Tupac and them. Appreciate the super chat, Felix Speaks. Keep up the great work. Dang, I appreciate that. Suge Knight and Death Row Records was getting into politics in the 90s and using Tupac and Snoop because this Prop 209 was something that directly affected black people. This wasn't a people of color thing. So we had our rappers put on suits and speak for us. Listen to this.
Limelight to be famous, nothing like that. I think my spokesperson for Death Row always will be, the guy who acts, raps, the other guy who raps. Now he's a, model. I like to bring Tupac and Snoop up.
Real quick, I forgot to introduce one of our artists, the 17-year-old R&B sensation, Danny Boy.
How y'all doing out there? We just want y'all to know at Death Row, we appreciate everything y'all doing for us. My record sales, we got 6 million. Snoop got 4 million. Dog Pound got 3 million. And we keep going. That means we represent that many votes. If we can represent that many votes, we gotta let these politicians be scared of us. That means every time we drop something, y'all gotta pick it up. Every time y'all call for us, we gonna come. Alright, now we gonna let Dog talk.
What's up, y'all? I got this in my hand, register to vote, trying to get all y'all to get with this real thing, because it's our voice that means something, you know what I'm saying? It's all on us. If we don't speak, ain't nobody gonna speak for us. They're gonna speak against us, so we got to speak up. As a rapper, as a brother from the community, somebody who is intact with what y'all feel and what y'all go through, I'm one of the main voices saying that I'm
not here to try to get the line.
Y'all see that? That wasn't vote for Bill Clinton. That wasn't follow the Democrats. That was where us as a voting base really do have power, and that's locally. Locally, California was dealing with Prop 209. And there was a time that our rappers could be used to push a local agenda. Unfortunately for them, 209 got defeated. And they ended affirmative action here in California. And since then, you can go through, I dare you to go past the construction site right now. There's plenty of you can choose from, Crane City. I dare you to go past the construction site of anything major being built and find a black person. I dare you to go into these tech companies and find black people who aren't security or receptionists. And you got Pharrell saying it's not about how you look. Let's keep going. See, I don't want to get on Pharrell because I think Pharrell makes good music, but look, there's musicians. Listen to me clear. There's a lot of musicians out there listen to me. You don't have to be political. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being apolitical. I have no issues with apolitical. Okay? But politics ain't for everybody. It ain't for most people. I get it. And if it ain't for you, if you know you're not taking this time to see what's going on in society, then don't let it be for you and just don't say nothing. There's nothing wrong with saying, there's nothing wrong with saying nothing. Chat room, am I wrong? There's nothing wrong with saying nothing.
Do you want someone to support your startup because you're black or because you're the best?
No, I want them to support my startup with money. I don't give a fuck what they think it's about. If they think, okay, I'm just going to throw this nigga some money and because I want to feel good about race, then yes, support it because of my race. I don't give a fuck, Pharrell. I got a foundation right now, the Black American Music Historical Family Tree Foundation. I'm getting the site rebuilt right now. But this is my website. Oh, damn, he didn't tell me he was done, that he had gone this far. Oh, shit. This is my foundation. You can donate right now. You go to bandfamilytree.org. You can do monthly through PayPal or Stripe. You can make a one-time contribution. All that. You can do all that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to do it because you think I'm smart, I will gladly take your money. Because I got a lot of shit to accomplish with that. I'm putting together a full curriculum for, right now there's a community center, a lady who has community centers all around the country. I'm putting together a historical music curriculum for them. I need money for that. So if you want to do it because you like blackness, fine. If you want to do it because you want to just... Hold on, Rocky, come on. Come on, little nigga. Thought you was gone. Anyway, I'm Pharrell. I don't give a fuck how you get that money. If you do it, it's some people out there who be like, you know what? There are people who do have white guilt. And they want to share because of the guilt. And you know what I say? Share it with me, homeboy, homegirl. I take some of that guilt bread. You know why? Because it's not about how a person feels. It's about me and my integrity and knowing that what I have coming through, I'm doing something with it. Creating documentaries, writing books. Well, however the fuck you feel about what you're donating to, the job is going to go, and it's going to help, and it's going to help us. It's going to help people. So black folks, stop all that. Do you want to do it because the person think that you're black? Look, they can think I'm a jigaboo, goofball, doofus. But if they say, hey, DeJuan, here's $50,000 for your program, you know what I'm going to say? I just gonna go ahead and take this money, and I gonna take this money, and I'm gonna teach all the kids. Yep, nigga. Gotta get all that, man. It's about, man, you think they won't think, and they think, and what person think, and this person think, and they think, and what they say and think, Man, shit, I think I need some more money. How about that?
Right. So I think now for me, it's about us having the best ambition. That's the reason why you should support these businesses. Yes, they happen to be black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color.
Heard he said, the word that he said, it should be. And I agree with Pharrell. It really should be based on the best. He's right. It should be. But what's the truth? Is it? What's the world that we live in? Not the world that we want. Not the world that we can conceive. Not the world that, okay, maybe one day, if the things happen right and this domino fall and that domino fall and that domino fall, then yeah, it'll be that. No, nigga, what world do we live in? We don't live in a meritocracy. We are the victims of this. And so the fact that when I say victims from the point of view is we're not the ones who write the rules to how society operates. So if you're not the one that writes the rules to how society operates, if you're playing basketball and you're a basketball player, you're not fucking Adam Silver who writes the rules, who decides what's a foul and what's not a foul. The basketball player got to play the game within the rules that are defined. You can't say, man, I don't know, man. We shouldn't have a three-point line. We really shouldn't. Every shot should be the same. I don't care if you shoot it from half court or if you dunk. Every shot should be the same because when the ball go through the hoop, do it matter what side of the court you made the hoop go through? All shots should be the same. Meanwhile, you got Steph Curry coming down. This nigga pulling up from 1 foot inside the half court line. Bucket. Nah, I don't care what's going on in society. Every point is 2 points. Well, the rules say if you shoot from behind that line, it's a 3. Well, I don't like the rule. That don't make sense. What you gonna do? If you gonna put it behind half court, it's a 4-point shot? Well, I believe we should have 4-point shots. What's gonna happen to the person that's believing when they're in competition against the person that's going by the rules? The person that's playing the game the best by the rules is gonna kill the motherfucker believing all day. Well, I don't believe in out of bounds. I don't think that's right. Why is the court longer than it is wider? The court should be a square. And so the sidelines, that's not out of bounds. We're gonna move the out of bounds over about 10 more feet. And then you come getting the ball, and you dribble the ball out of bounds. Referee, out of bounds, ball the other way. And you like, man, what? It's not about the out of bounds. We playing the game. We playing the game. What you mean out of bounds? That's the rules, you fucking idiot. That's how you niggas sound when y'all talk about the world we should be in. The world does not go off of our opinions. The oligarchs that control how societies are run have created particular rules. Now, why am I saying you got to follow within the rules? Because that's the only way you're going to beat the game. Once you know what the rules are, you can then learn how to manipulate those rules, how to go around those rules. Like James Harden. The rule said 2.5 steps. So James Harden said, oh, I get a half step? Now that half step was there before James Harden, but everyone went 1, 2, layup. The rule at Ben said you get 2.5 because you get a gather dribble. So everyone else in the NBA is 1, 2, layup. And then Manu Ginobili, God Shamgod, they came around because God Shamgod was doing the Euro before Ginobili. They came around on a gather, and it looked like a travel, but it wasn't. Because you got to gather here, step 1, 2, layup. When God Shamgod and Ginobili, and then later on Dwayne Wade, I think Dwayne Wade was the greatest Euro step of all time. They perfected that where people were saying that's a travel. No. God Shamgod, Manu Ginobili, Dwayne Wade, they were doing what the rule said you can do. The rule Ben said you got to gather step. These was just the first motherfuckers to do it, so they had an advantage. And then James Harden said, I'm going to take that gather step because usually people catch and gather at the same time. James Harden said, I'm going to dribble the ball, let it hold. I'm not going to hold it. I'm going to have my hand above the ball. I'm not going to hold it. Take a step. And then when I catch it, I got the gather step. And then I got 2 more steps. So to the untrained eye, it looks like James Harden took 4 steps. No. He just took the rule and he bent it in such a way it gave him an advantage over the defender. And that's how it is understanding how the system of white supremacy works. Oh, you do look at my color. Ah, okay. Color does matter. Okay. So now that I know the world that I live in is my color determines things that I cannot control because the person sitting behind that desk that controls the yay or nay, they think like that more often than not. Every now and again you get somebody who don't. So now I'm like, I have to deal with this in my professional life. Like, damn, DeJuan Brown don't be getting no job opportunities. So once I understood that's the world that I live in, not the world that I want, I trained myself how to run a business. Went down to the small business development school and learned how to cultivate business. Took a public speakers course to learn how to get jobs and contracts, doing trainings at corporations. I just like, you know what? Since these is the rules, since these motherfuckers don't want to hire me, and I can't go around and beat somebody across the head and say hire me, let me change how I move. I made that decision at the age of 29. I'm never going to allow myself to get caught up in my fate being these people's hands. I gotta retrain how I get down. So being realistic about race is what made me learn how to open up a business, learn how to develop a business, learn how to grow and scale a business. Because that's gonna be the only way I can make some fucking money. Because I'm not going to do it like a lot of these niggas in California. Most of these niggas left California. And no disrespect for those who did leave California. But I ain't leaving California for no goddamn Alabama or no Atlanta. Hell no. I'll be goddamn if I move to Atlanta out of L.A. with all that bussy shit going on down there. Hell no. No disrespect to Atlanta. But so many niggas left L.A. to go to Atlanta because of the job situation. I ain't moving to no fucking Charlotte. Have you been to Charlotte before? I've been to Charlotte. Man, you know the best part about going to Charlotte for me was leaving Charlotte. The best part about my time in Charlotte was when I got on the airplane and came back to LA. You dig? I ain't going down there. Yeah, we got some rain in LA right now, but so what? It's a few days of rain. All this beautiful sunshine, the Hollywood Bowl, the Blue Note Jazz Club, nigga, the beach, my mom and my dad. I ain't leaving this shit for no goddamn Houston. Hell no. No. Because like a lot of them niggas that left LA 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and figure it out, you get to where you move to, that nut that you saved by year 3 is gone. Your lifestyle has now adjusted to the cost of that city. You're used to making this money and now cost is low down here. Oh, but guess what? Houston's being gentrified. Dallas is being gentrified. Atlanta being gentrified. Charlotte being gentrified. Everywhere you go is being gentrified. So within the next 3 to 5 years, the cost of living has adjusted to what you make. And now you back in the same situation you was in LA 6 years ago, except for you got 8 hours of drive to get to a beach. Hell no. Nope. If I move out of LA, it's because there's a new city that I'm at a new place in my life, and what LA offers is something that I'm not into anymore, and now I'm on to something different. If I move out of LA, that's gonna be my story. It ain't gonna be because the economy pushed me out. Hell no. But I was able to put myself in this position because I was real about the world that I live in. I was the best qualified. I had college degree, banking experience. Everywhere that I did have when I did have a day job, I was always a top employee, top sales, top trainer. Whatever I did when I was at my job, I was always the best. So I was the best. That didn't matter. What if I had said that mindset? Well, I'm the best. Since I'm the best, all I gotta do is keep applying for jobs. I know I'm the best. Oh, I didn't get that job? Must not have been the best. I'm gonna apply for this job. God damn, they didn't even call me back. I'm gonna apply for this job. Let me go do some research to figure out who they hired in that job. Then you see who they hired. This motherfucker can't even spell right. How in the hell did they get that job over me? I'm the best, so I'm gonna keep applying because I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm gonna keep on applying. And then time and time again, you getting the door shut in your face. This is what I mean by these cats being out of touch.
That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on. And if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on being the best because I can bank on that. Because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best.
And we've been doing that. And how's that turned out? You gotta know the race and the race play that's going on in America. In order to, that's gonna be where you apply you being the best. I knew I was the fucking best. That's why I was able to be like, you know what? I don't need this job. Because I'm the best. Let me go and create a job. James Brown talked about that.
People, we gotta get over before we go under. Save our money like the mob. Put up the factory on the job.
Save our money like the mob. Put up the factory and own the job. James Brown talked about being the best 50 years ago, Pharrell. You ain't saying nothing new. But how many of us, thank God my parents didn't have to deal with layoffs, but I saw all my friends and people around me. I saw the quality of life with a lot of my friends from the 80s to the 2000s deteriorate. In the 80s, they lived in a house. They, got, fresh pair of shoes when the school started. But by the time the late 90s came, they now living in an apartment. The money ain't flowing because they were the best, but they got laid off their job because the cheapest came around. That's another part beyond race. Beyond race, there's ageism. When people get to 49 in their early 50s, a lot of these jobs, because y'all getting paid too good, because your benefits package is too good, white, black, Hispanic, whatever race you are, they're about to find a reason to let your ass go and hire some 25-year-old that's getting paid half of what you get paid, won't demand anything, and they're not the best, but they'll do the job for half the price. These companies don't give a fuck about the best, for real. They give a fuck about the cheapest. So when it goes beyond race, that's bad advice beyond race. That's bad advice to somebody who's getting ready to turn 55. And you telling them to be the best. Goddamn 55-year-old can run circles around a motherfucker. But this person is young, dumb, and cheaper. So they're going to get the job. And the company will take whatever losses in training this 30-year-old idiot over the 55-year-old that's the best. Because in the long run, it's going to be cheaper. And then when this 30-year-old is 35, 40, and he done figured the job out, and he went from being young and dumb to being 40 and good, guess what's going to happen when he turned 42? Layoff. Here comes another 30-year-old that could do the job for even half what you doing it for. Well, I've been at this job for 42 years. I'm the best. Yeah. Well, be the best and be the first one in line down to the bank to cash your last paycheck because this nigga's young, dumb, and cheaper. Bad advice, for real. Bad advice. And what that does is it takes me to the last topic of the day. I was shouts out to Nicey Girl, so FBA Strong, Young D, Bismarck T, Street Nasty Entertainment. Thank y'all for joining. I got this from Sincere Love the God podcast and Nicey Girl. Something that Brother James Small said, and I had a few of y'all that wanted me to address it a few days ago. And I didn't do any lives this past weekend, getting ready for the comedy show at the museum. And I want to talk about something that James Small said with respect. I'm not going to spend too much time on this topic, but it does tie in to what Pharrell said, and it ties in to what's going on politically with Nicki Minaj and Trump. And that's about who we are as a people. Hey, folks, real quick before I go to the next topic. You're right. It is going to AI, but let's make it very clear. A lot of these jobs are not going to AI. They're not. That's why Trump talked about bringing, if everything's going to AI, Trump will be talking about bringing in 600,000 Chinese students and another few 100,000 Indians. They're still hiring people. They are. They're just hiring not Americans. Again, not the best, the cheapest. Don't let them lie to you and say everything's going to AI. No, it's not. They wouldn't be bringing in so many people to America. If the jobs are going AI, then why so many people come to America? It ain't just to pick the cotton. But I heard you saying there, Large. Yeah, my address, AI means another Indian. Exactly. They wouldn't be bringing so many people here in if all them jobs are going to AI. They telling us it's going to AI. Nah, yeah. AI, all right. So I was at Inglewood Costco last week. And this shit was Indian like a motherfucker. Red dot Indian, too. I was like, God damn. I'm over here in Costco. And I said this last week. That's how the goddamn Inglewood Costco sound when I walked up in that motherfucker. I'm walking up in Inglewood Costco. It's I was like, what the fuck? When the fuck did all these... How in the hell did y'all just have to knock down Morningside High School because there's not enough kids? But you got a whole new group of people. This shit was out of nowhere. And they want to tell you the jobs are going to AI. Shit. All right, now let's listen to what Brother James Small said. And I love James Small. I've interviewed him before. I have nothing but love and respect for James Smalls. I thought that Sincere Love to God and Nicety Girl, they did a wonderful job covering this story yesterday. They were very respectful. And I would love for you to go to their podcast and watch it in full for their breakdown. But I wanted to give my breakdown in my words. But I would love for you to go to their channel and break it down. Yeah, Black McBain. I know you have. One of my partners I work with right now. I'm doing some stuff. Y'all not gonna like. I'm actually helping some people bring in foreign-born players to play football here in America, and I'm teaching them some things. But one of the people I'm working with is a tech guy. He's a black FBA Black American from New York, actually from Jersey. And what he does is he goes around the companies and he fixes their tech department. Black American. Dope as fuck. He cleans up tech departments. I'm not going to mention some of the companies that he's worked for, but some pretty big name companies. And he was telling me, he was like, man, I was like, well, don't you need to bring the Indians in? Because American on train. He was like, look, man, DeJuan, the best Indians that are the smartest and the best, they're already over here in America. And he said now with China opening up and also with India opening up, the best of the best oftentimes now is staying in India because India has certain parts that have deep pockets, or they're going to China because China's a much closer. So China is getting a lot of Indians. There are other parts of the world, the best of the best Indians aren't necessarily coming to America anymore. America's just getting the regular students that other Americans can compete with. And they're very by the book. They're not really good at solving new issues. They just, if it's in the manual, they can do it. But if it's anything outside the manual, they just be fucking. I heard this from somebody who literally fixes tech departments all around the country. He goes to really big companies. If their tech department is in shambles, he's the person that comes in to fix it. Now, mind you, this is the same dude that got some Indians that's working on our program. But he was like, man, nowadays, it ain't that. But back to what we're talking about, James Smalls. I'm going to play what James Smalls said, and then we're going to give a response, okay?
I'm not FBA. Do not support them or their concept or their attack against African peoples or the attack against Pan-Africanism, which shows a lot of ignorance and misunderstanding. I'm an African. And if someone wants to clip that little 2 minutes to try to create a critical negative, let those same person look at the other 100 plus videos that I have on the YouTube. And there's a couple of thousand more videos if you want to really go looking, and you will find they're 100% pro-African, pro-freedom, pro-identity, pro-Pan-Africanism.
Professor James Small is a respected elder.
So there it is. Let's break it down line by line. I want y'all to play. I want to play the full things in context. Now let's break it down line by line. And again, this is out of respect for Mr. James Smalls.
I'm not FBA. Do not support them or their concept or their attack against African peoples or the attack against Pan-Africanism, which shows a lot of ignorance.
Right there. Let's deal with that. If y'all notice, oftentimes when it's talking about the tussle between FBA and non-Black American immigrants, we are generally the ones that are attacked for attacking others. It's very rare to never that you see people across the diaspora get checked and questioned for how they treat Black Americans. And again, it's out of respect for Brother James Smalls, because this statement that he makes doesn't take away from all the work that he's done. And I said on this very channel, I think that James Smalls is one of the few legitimate Pan-Africanists, because he spends so much time in Africa helping them out. I respect James Smalls' Pan-Africanism because he spent a lot of time on the continent being a Pan-Africanist, not preaching it. So we got to understand the context that this is a man that since the 60s has dedicated his life for walking it how he talks it. From him being an imam for Malcolm X's former mosque, to him being a Yoruba priest. He also acknowledges his Cherokee, his Native American ancestry. Been listening to him for years. But he's also somebody, he had that thing called that hotel in Ghana called the Sauna Lounge, the Sauna Lodge. I don't know if y'all remember that. But I remember when he was doing fundraisers for it, I donated to his Sauna Lodge a few times. So we got to understand with Brother Smalls, Mr. Smalls, I'm going to say, not brother, he's an elder. With Elder Smalls, Dr. Smalls, Mr. Smalls, we're dealing with somebody who for over 60 years has been living it how he talks it. So his perspective naturally is going to be much different than a lot of ours, because he's been living Pan-Africanism longer than a lot of us have been alive, including me. Dr. Smalls has been living Pan-Africanism longer than I've been living. He's truly committed to it. So he's not going to be as willing to abandon Pan-Africanism as a lot of us are. Most of me, all of my life since I've been conscious of the earth, not just conscious, but conscious of my surrounding as an American, as a human, as DeJuan Brown, as a kid. I've always seen Black Americans, Africans, Jamaicans as the same. I just saw Jamaicans as people with funny ass accents I want to clown and talk shit about because it's funny. But I've always seen them as brothers my whole life. Africans too. My best friends in the 3rd grade was a kid. My first time hearing about the country of Ghana was in 3rd grade with a kid named Amarish. And Amarish I was a jokester little kid. Amarish was real dark with a funny looking face and he wore church clothes to school. And I was like, Amarish, why in the hell? No. Amarish was a different one. No, that was a different kid. Amarish was middle school. This kid name was Aaron. Aaron Aquaboa. That was his name. His last name was Aquaboa. He was the Ghanaian. Aaron Aquaboa. He had, he would wear church clothes to shoes. To school. And that was the first time. I'm in 3rd grade. I ain't never seen nobody wear church clothes to schools. So Aaron Aquaboa, we struck up a friendship. Like, dude, like, why you always wearing them penny loafers with a Chuck E. Cheese token in the motherfuckers? You dig? And we cracked jokes, but I still saw Aaron Aquaboa as my brother. When I would see people like James Smalls and his son Lodge, I would donate. I still, even now, as an FBA, see the diaspora as my brother. I still, to this day, you cannot get me to think anything different. We're better together than we are fragmented and apart. And I will stand by that. I'll go to my grave believing we're better together than we are apart. But I also have to deal in facts. And the fact is that brotherhood is only reciprocated 98% of the time when I got a bag of money in my hand to give to you. Very rarely is that respect reciprocated. Very rarely. Going back, they never go to Ray Shalou Dennis when him buying Essence magazine, he only seemed to be able to hire other Africans for prominent positions. They don't talk about Howard University and all the Africans that they have in there that don't hire Black Americans. The disrespect of our culture never gets brought up when it comes to this Pan-Africanism thing. If we as Black Americans have been given so much, what is wrong with us asking for reciprocity? And that's why I could disagree with Brother James Smalls and still have respect. Because from our point of view, he's seeing it as us on them. He spends a lot of time in that around Pan-Africans. And they don't like Tariq. They don't like what's going on because it's upsetting their status quo. And although James Smalls ain't a hustler, we all understand that there are a lot of hustlers in that Pan-African world. He's not one of them. Never has been. Has never even given a hint that he could be. But the rest of us have been seeing the hustle. We're just tired of it. And unless the African diaspora is willing to address this in-house, we have to address it. I don't hear brothers like Mr. James Smalls, again, with all due respect. He's not addressing Winsome Sears. Her saying we don't need reparations and coming from not black America. He's not addressing all of these non-black American Kamala Harris. You think I'm going to do anything for black people? No. If the diaspora is not going to address that, then who will? Where is the Pan-African help to support Los Angeles? It's a big-ass diaspora out there. Who in the Pan-African world is building something in Chicago? We talk all day about crime in Chicago. What Pan-African organization based in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Jamaica, Trinidad, the UK, where are any of their people to help what's going on with black Americans in Chicago? With black Americans in New Orleans, Charlotte? We under a lot of shit. I don't know if you noticed that. But I notice I don't see too many Pan-African organizations addressing it. Why is it that we're always over there and nobody's over here? I'm not against Pan-Africanism, and neither are most people who can claim FBA if it's reciprocal. I have a Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation where we always hear about how much money and success Nigerians are making in America. Nigerians will brag to black Americans saying, we're doing better than you. We educated. We have an education. Education. We have an education. We're educated. We make more money than black Americans. Well, I got a foundation. Donate to it. And no, my Black American Music Family Tree is not going to talk about music in Africa. It's only going to deal with music in America because America's been neglected. No, there are plenty of organizations that deal with Africa. Mine deals with America. Where are the Pan-African educated people to donate to my foundation? Y'all got the money. Who gonna put up a couple mil so that I can properly teach black American music history to the diaspora? Where's that education to help Americans? That's a fair question. Now, was it a fair question in the 60s? No. That wasn't a fair question in the 70s. That wasn't a fair question in the 80s. But since the 90s, they have education. Education. All the Nigerian doctors out there, all the Ghanaian doctors, hell, where the fuck the scammers at? At least in America, our thugs donated back to the community. They give a turkey giveaway or something. The numbers runners supported the community. Let's tell the whole truth. It was the pool hall guys, Dr. John Henry Clark said, that supported Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. The bootleggers. They put up, the bootleggers provided a lot of security. They donated to organizations, to churches. The black criminals, most of our industries were started from street money because we didn't get bank money. From Motown to Death Row Records, it's street money. Where are the Nigerian scammers that are donating to something positive? If y'all gonna scam, at least be Robin Hood. What is that? Education. Teaching them to reciprocate what we given. These are valid questions.
It's a misunderstanding. I'm an African. And if someone wants to clip that little 2 minutes to try to create a critical negative, let those same person look at the other 100 plus videos that I have on the YouTube. And there's a couple of thousand more videos if you want to really go looking, and you will find they're 100% pro-African, pro.
I get what he's saying. See, look, Dr. Smalls identifies as African heritage. That's fine. I used to, too. My shift didn't come, and this is where I have an issue with the people saying that we're trying to run from our Africanness. If it's there, I can't run from nothing that's in me. If it's there. So far in my studies, I've traced my family back to the 1600s. I ain't found no Africans yet. But it's not saying that they're not there. Not saying that they're not there. But I'm not running from Africa. What I am doing is I'm embracing Big Mama. My Big Mama, my grandmother. See, you have long ancestors from way back in the day, and you got more immediate ancestors. If your parents have passed along, my respect to you. Thank God I haven't had to deal with that. But a lot of you guys have parents that have gone along. Those are your ancestors, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. What about them? Am I supposed to skip over my grandmama to focus on Africa? My grandmama was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1930 in a community that should have been thriving, but it wasn't because it was burned down 9 years before she was born. And my great-granddaddy, Mr. Foster, had to live through that. I was talking to my dad yesterday. I was being with my dad. I love talking about the family history, and I was asking my dad about his granddad. My granddad's name was Mr. Foster. Everybody called Mr. Foster Mr. Foster. He even had his kids called him Mr. Foster, and his brothers and sisters called him Mr. Foster. My dad talked about how everyone called him Mr. Foster because when he walked, he just commanded respect. And when he tell you Mr. Foster walked with such respect, everybody called him Mr. Foster. That's my ancestor. I honor Mr. Foster. I honor Mr. Foster. That's not denying Africa. That's honoring a man who had to live through Black Wall Street. And he somehow lived through that, rebuilt his life up, had my grandmama, who had my daddy, who had me. My Mr. Foster, I don't know what my African ancestors listened to. But my daddy told me Mr. Foster liked the blues. And that's why I created my Black American music family tree. We can go back and listen to the music our ancestors liked. We know what they liked. I don't know what they was listening to in Africa. I don't know. They don't have the instruments that we had in Africa. See, me studying America, once I got to studying America and our music here, I got to see how little connection there was to Africa. Not because I'm running from Africa. Not because I'm trying to disrespect Africa. Because I want the truth. And I'm a fucking musician. So I know which goddamn questions to ask to find the truth. There ain't no disrespect to Africa. But the drum set wasn't invented there. It was invented here. And the mathematics that put together the Black American sound comes together on the instruments that we created and perfected here in America. And that's no disrespect to Africa. Africa has music all throughout that continent. And it's very diverse. The music within tribes is diverse. Yoruba music is not the same as Watusi music. Igbo music ain't the same as Eritrean music. Eritrean music ain't the same as Ethiopian music, even though they both share big ass foreheads. Then the big forehead folks. But their music ain't the same. Love them. The music out of Burkina Faso ain't the same as the music out of Morocco. Everybody got their own thing. And here in America, we created our own thing. And I love, honor, and respect what my grandparents listened to. My grandfather, who was born in 1924, moved to LA in 1937 and died in 2022. He loved B.B. King. Poppy loved B.B. King. And when I want to honor my ancestor, that doesn't really do anything for me. My ancestors probably weren't, if my ancestors who weren't in Africa, they probably weren't in that part of Africa that played this shit. Sounds good. Sounds good. Doesn't sound familiar. You know what sounds familiar to me? What my granddaddy listened to?
Tonight.
Anytime I want to drum up a feeling and communicate with my grandfather, all I gotta do is turn on some B.B. King. And my grandfather's gonna give me messages on how he navigated through this land. I don't know what my African ancestors can teach me about navigating through the United States. They weren't here. The people that came here got through here through this. Don't ever trust a woman until she dead. I play that song, my grandfather gonna pop right up. Hey, grandson, you having some woman issues? My grandmother, me and my grandmother was so close. I was so close to my grandmother. So if I want to commune with my grandmother, think about it, my grandmother is probably the ancestor that's, one, she loved me. I had a real life connection with her when she was living. Because all your ancestors it's like family. Everybody, hey, you don't get along with all your ancestors, nigga. Do you get along with all your cousins? So think about that shit in the afterlife. Shouldn't you be contacting the ancestors that gave a fuck about you when you was living? My grandmama know how to navigate through the United States. So when I want to talk to my grandmother, I just turn on some Aretha Franklin. I could feel my grandmother's presence right now. And my grandmama know me. So when I need to speak to my grandmama, there we go. It's right there. So when I talk about being FBA, when I talk about being Black American, that's out of love, honor, and respect for the 400 years that I can document was on this land. Hell, we as Black Americans, we can go back further. I had a lot of ancestors that was living when this came out. This some Blind Tom Wiggins. That's somebody playing Blind Tom Wiggins, who was a black master musician in the 1800s. And he's the first black musician, one of the first ones to play for a president. He played for two different presidents. Blind Tom Wiggins. I'm gonna show you who he is. If we go back, and if I go back, he was around. Blind Tom Wiggins was around in the 1800s. He was a slave musician who left, who got slavery, and then when slavery ended, his slave master found a way to get his mom to sign his rights back over to the slave master. So Blind Tom Wiggins quit music for 20 years, so he wouldn't have to play, because he was playing up to 5 shows a day. Blind Tom Wiggins composed over 7,000 songs. And he was doing music between the 1860s and the 1890s. And if I go back 4 generations, you have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-grandparents, 64 great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. So if I think about it, if I go back to the time of Blind Tom Wiggins, I have 64 direct, not indirect, not cousins. You have 64 great-grandparents that were living on this earth at the time he was alive, playing music. We don't think about it like that, do we? 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents. Now we in the 1870s. Their parents are alive, that's 32. Let's go conservative and say during the time of slavery, post-slavery, Reconstruction. Let's go conservative and say I had 32 great-great-grandparents. Well, what was the music that was popular during that time? I can look it up. That's why they always have you pointing to Africa. Because if you look to America, you know what your 32 great-great-great-grandparents was probably listening to. And it was music that sounded like this. He composed over 7,000 songs. This is what they were listening to. If they were in the gospel, one of the most popular groups at that time was the Fifth Jubilee Singers. This is what my great-grandparents were listening to, of a song that they were singing 150 years ago. What room do I have to deny Africa anything? Africa's not part of the fucking equation. When this song dropped, I had 32 great-grandparents that was struggling here. Nobody from Africa came to get none of those 32 grandparents that was listening to this. Not one African, not one Caribbean, not one Negro from Australia, from Fiji, from the UK, none of them. Wasn't no Afro-Mexicans, Afro-Al Salvadorians, nigga. It wasn't no Aztecs. It wasn't no Argentinians, nigga. None of those people. I had 32 living ancestors at that time. Direct. Direct. Not indirect. Direct. 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 They got what my great grandmama mama, and they had a kid. And that kid got with somebody else, and they got together and had my great great granddaddy. And then they got with somebody else, and that person had my great great granddaddy. And that person got with somebody else, and they were on this land. When do we honor that? And I ask that out of respect for Brother James Smalls, Mr. James Smalls, Baba James Smalls. At what point is honoring those people just honoring those people? That has nothing to do with disrespecting or running from Africa. Hell, during that time, I could say Africa was running from us. Because in the 1850s, they still had power. They weren't completely dominated by the Europeans in the 1850s, in the 1840s. While I had in the 1830s, I had 64 ancestors on this land struggling to make it. Some free, some enslaved, some Indian. But not one African canoe came to help none of them motherfuckers. And they still controlled Africa at that point. The European hadn't decimated them yet at that point. Do we ever think about that? Where was the help then? See, I'm not about to sit here and play the you didn't help me out, I didn't help you out. Okay, fine. Y'all were busy. Y'all were getting beat up by the Muslims. I get it. Y'all had your own internal strife in Africa that was brought on to you by constant warfare from the Arabs to the east. I get it. I get it. But just like you was handling your problems, I had 64 direct ancestors living on this land handling their problems. So if I choose to honor those living ancestors that was here handling these problems, that shouldn't be taken as a slight to Africa. And again, this is with all respect to Mr. James Smalls. And if Pan-Africans aren't going to address the disrespect coming from the African diaspora, then we have to. Because at the end of the day, let me end it with this right here, y'all. I got to get up out of here. But let me end it with this. This is why. Black Americans, we're home. See, when I'm at home, you can't come to my home and go to my refrigerator, eat out my refrigerator. You got to have respect enough, and I can offer you something out of my refrigerator, and and I'm going to treat you with respect here in my home. But if somebody walks into your home, they think that they can join Congress, join the Senate, and then tell you what you don't deserve in the house that your grandmama built. That has to be recognized and accounted for and talked about. Shouldn't it? We're not going to Botswana affecting their internal politics. We're not going to Trinidad and Tobago changing their internal politics. We're not going to Cuba, to Ghana, to Zimbabwe. We're not going to these places and changing how they operate, taking their jobs. We're not doing that. You're coming here to our universities, Fisk University, Howard University, and choosing not to hire Black Americans. We can't talk until you address that. I'm at home. I'm at home. Not my job to change because you got here. And why? And I'm still, when which you come here, I'm still trying to figure out how to get through this beast. The same beast that fucked up your home. We still trying to figure this shit out. And you want to come here and be like, I'm coming for the money. I just want to make money and send it back home. I want to make money. You making money so you can build yourself a compound back in Nigeria. Can we address that? Ooh, can we address that? Why can't we talk about it? We created these economies for you to send money back there. When we still got crime in Chicago. See how I call back Chicago? Yeah. When we still got homelessness in LA and gentrification in Dallas. You came to America to capitalize off an economy that black Americans built, and you sending the money back to Ghana? Why don't Pan-Africans start at home? Pan-Africanism start here. Why can't you send the money here? We have plenty of organizations on the streets doing plenty of good work. Where is the reciprocal Pan-Africanism? But that's with love and respect to Brother James Smalls. Just something else to think about. I'm not telling him he should change. He's died in the wool. He's been what he's doing for a long time. He's probably not going to change. Don't want him to change. He is who he is. But I did want to address that because it's more than us throwing shots. We're at home. We throw shots at each other all day. That's part of who we are here. We don't mean nothing by it. We still hire them. Now, if black Americans got to the point to where we weren't hiring other folks and we say, you know what? It's just us, which something we probably do need to do, but I'm not that extreme. A lot of us do feel that way. Then I can see James Small saying something. But we still hire them. We don't freeze these people out of the economy. Cisco Bell, appreciate the super chat. He said Pan-Africanism could work without FBAs and it will simply work. But they know without us there's no Pan-Africanism because no one in the diaspora cares about real Pan-Africanism. Real talk, Cisco Bell. That's just a fact. Where's the Pan-Africanism between the Caribbean and Africa? Where's the Pan-Africanism? People forget about the Aborigines down in Australia. Where's the Pan-Africanism between the Africans and the mistreatment of Aborigines in Australia? Where's that? Without black Americans being involved. Where's Pan-Africanism in the mistreatment of the Africans in Japan that have pushed all the way up in the mountains in Fiji and Thailand? The dark-skinned Dravidians in India. Where's the Pan-Africanism between y'all? We've been pushing this shit for like, what? Booker T. Washington? Callie House? Frederick Douglass been pushing this shit since the 1850s? When the fuck is somebody else gonna pick up the ball? This is a serious question. ADL Choice says we have to talk about global internal black classism on an international perspective. Yeah. Internal black classism, right. We don't have to be the saviors of the world, black folks. Because the fact of the matter is, you can't save the world until you save yourself. And we ain't even saved ourselves yet. So FBA is here to save ourselves. Then once we save ourselves, as we save ourselves, we can then help save the rest of the world. But there is no saving the world without saving yourself first. That's not neglecting Africa. That's not denying anything. That's doing what the goddamn flight attendant says on the airplane. In case of emergency and these air masks come down, put your mask on first before you put it on somebody else. The only way I can stop you from drowning is if I know how to swim, right? Well, how in the hell can we stop you from drowning if we just tread in water? We barely tread in water, and people saying, let's go save these people from drowning, when we don't damn near just now learn how to tread water in this economy, in this country. That's where we are with it. Never learn to swim. Why should I hold my breath? Feeling that I might choke. Things you go through because of things you swim through. Why blow your nose to spite your face? And then Parliament says, with the rhythm it takes to dance through. I want y'all to hear it. See if I play that part without getting a strike. With the rhythm it takes to dance through what we have to live through. Things you blow through because of things you swim through. Hear Junie Morrison? Listen to Junie give you this lesson in life. With the rhythm it takes to dance to what we have to live through. We as Black Americans take a rhythm to dance through what we gotta live through. There's a rhythm it takes to dance through what we gotta live through. And we teach in the diaspora, hey, look, it's a rhythm to dance through. It's a rhythm here in America. And what is the diaspora saying? No, you Black Americans are just lazy. You're just lazy. You're just lazy. Lazy. No, nigga. It take a rhythm to dance through what we gotta live through. And we trying to catch the rhythm of that stroke. Psycho, alpha, disco, beta, bio, aqua, doo-doo. We trying to get the rhythm of the stroke. Only for people in the diaspora to say, you're just lazy. And I'm going to hire some other African and not you. And we ain't got to deal with that? Shit. Join the Patreon right now at Dewan B. Next class is this coming Sunday. History of R&B. Class number 4 is on the way. Thank y'all for listening. Classical R&B I put up yesterday on Patreon. Go and tune in for all my Patreon subscribers and non-subscribers for that particular episode, all right? This nigga Black McBain said they thought that song was about floating over on an inner tube for free benefits. I'm done. I'm trying to make a point. I got these silly ass niggas in my chat. Y'all niggas are stupid. Brooke, thank you for joining Street Nasty Entertainment. Brian Barnes, Sam Goose, Caldonna, Donia, everybody else, Felix Speaks, Bill Basie. Appreciate all y'all for joining FBA Strong. If I didn't get to you, not because I don't love you, but I'm not going to read everybody's fucking name. Iron Will, appreciate all y'all. Y'all have a good one. We out.